I'm a new Knesset member, was elected in the Likud 5 months ago, and in my background, in short, I was a F-16 pilot in the Israeli Air Force, served in reserve until now, still serving, and studied, I did my MBA, I worked in different startups, I know the high-tech industry, and 8 years ago I joined El Al as a pilot, and came to here basically from the cockpit to the Knesset. So that's my short background, and I would like to start by first thanking you all for coming here. It's warming our hearts to see the support that we get from the United States in a time which is always complex here in Israel, but you all know what's going on in the current days. And that leads me to the issues I would like to discuss, and that's the frontiers that Israel is facing. Israel is actually, in our region, the only democracy that is accepting each and every individual, enabling human rights to gay community, to minorities, to every religion. We have freedom of religion and beliefs here, and we're kind of unique in that sense in the area that we are here. Although all this is true, we're still facing hard times in the UN and a tough diplomatic agenda from the Arab support countries in the UN. And one of the major issues that we need our ally, our best ally, the United States, is to help us in this diplomatic frontier, and I think you all know that. Actually, Israel is facing few frontiers. We have what we see as a real threat to our national security. That's, of course, the threat from a nuclear Iran. I don't want to go into that. Everybody knows the history of that problem. And this is the agreement that was signed with Iran is putting us in a new reality that Iran became a member of the world again, and everybody is rushing to invest there. A lot of money is being freed, and we're actually facing the world #1 terror state back to business, I would say. And that means arming Hezbollah, arming Hamas, other countries which don't have a border with Israel, and that's one issue that is a major issue to Israel's security. I would like to touch another delicate issue is the Palestinians. Just to put us into the frame, what are we facing in that issue? We left Gaza unconditionally, hoping to find in Gaza a regime that will try to develop its own society, its own economy, and try to create a Singapore in the Mediterranean. Unfortunately, it didn't take long before the Hamas threw their brothers from the third floor with their heads down, the Fatah, and took over the regime and the control on Gaza. Since then, almost every other year, and I participate also as a pilot in these operations, they're trying to harm our own people, and they're shooting rockets on our cities. They're trying to dig tunnels to surprise Israel. Think about their strategy. Their strategy is to surprise Israel through a tunnel and just go to a small neighborhood or whatever and massacre women and children, and that's the huge success story of the Hamas. So that's what we're facing, and our hopes of Singapore in the Middle East, of course, collapsed to this reality. That's one frontier. The other frontier that we're facing is the international frontier that Abu Mazen is leading through the UN, basically trying to evoke Israel's right for the land of the Jews in this state. And I can go into a lot of issues in this, and I think the one thing that we all need to remember is that the Jews have the right on Israel thousands of years before anybody here, any Palestinian was here. They only, so the claim that they have been conquered is an argument, and we have to raise this argument because we were the first to be here. We were conquered by the Romans and thrown away from Israel, and we came back, and the issue of who were here and who is the right is something that needs to be go through an argument, and it's the whole issue of occupation is something that I think has been going too deep with the Palestinian agenda and not actually looking at the facts, which we believe Israel is the land of the Jews. And going with that, we also have the BDS and the incitement that basically saying that we're trying to BDS only the 67 borders, but that's a clear, obvious thing that they're attacking the 48 borders and the existence of Israel as a Jewish state. So that's why we're facing the BDS, as we see it as a tactic, as a stage-by-stage tactic to harm Israel. And the third issue is the incitement and in the social networks that we face today, which take to the street young kids, which actually been brainwashed from the education system on hatred, on the issue that they shouldn't accept the fact again that Israel is the state for the Jews, causing a situation which is, I think, is unbelievable if you think about it. A 13 years old kid taking a knife and trying to kill another 13 years old kid. I don't know if you heard about that, but that's something that happened here, not far away from here. And then going back to the lies of Abu Mazen saying that this kid, the Arab kid that tried to murder a Jewish kid who just left the store of the candy store, he was murdered and so on, while we are treating him in our hospitals. So just to show you the irony of the facts and the lies that we are facing when they are trying to, again, hurt Israel's right to exist. So we need the support of the United States in all these areas. We need the support with the ammunition and the army, and that's something that I know has been going on for a while and now is back again into the agenda while the defense minister has just been in the United States discussing these issues and he just came back. And we need the support in the UN of the United States, and we will defend ourselves and we will protect ourselves here. Luckily, we are strong, we have the belief, we know we have the right to be here and we'll fight for that right. So on our side, we're gonna do that. And again, going back into the Palestinian issue, think about Israel and the state that we are, what's going on around us. Millions of refugees flooding Europe, and countries being torn away, and new things are going around, and people are now talking about a Palestinian state. How can we afford a Palestinian state within the heart of Israel on Ben Gurion Airport? What do people expect us to think? That they, in this situation, they will accept millions of refugees from Syria? This is something that if someone speaks about it, he doesn't understand the reality that we're facing. We're facing frontiers from armies, which has been decreased, but the nuclear Iran threat and the Iran different groups that they are funding, that's one thing. We're facing incitement and we are facing diplomatic agenda against us in the UN. So let me summarize by saying again, with what I started, that for me, it's really, really honored to be here. I'm sorry it's a short discussion. I was very thrilled and heard that you all guys are coming here to support Israel, and that's very important for us. And the things that we expect from our best friend, the United States, is to support us, of course, on the fight for the defense budget and defense needs. That's one thing. And the other thing is to give us the support in diplomatic world arena. Thank you very much. And again, I'm very happy to see you all here.